Hey guys, tonight we're gonna talk about J1 and H1 visa. So first, I'd like to tell you that most of these things that I'm gonna be talking about tonight are based on my own experience and from what I have read and from those people who went through the same thing. So a J1 visa is a student visa that allows you to be here in the U.S. to train. And what's good with the J1 visa is that most of the hospitals, especially the university or like academic hospitals, would be sponsoring for a J1 visa, which makes sense because it's a teaching hospital nonprofit. So J1 would be quote unquote easier for them to get for you guys. Now, the thing with the J1 visa is that you will need to have your passport stamped every year, like kind of renewal every year, just to show ECFMG in the program and USCIS, which is the immigration part, that you are here basically to train. So every year you will have to renew this, and then for people in the Philippines, we have to send like statement of need and some requirements that the Department of Health will be asking from you guys. Now, what's also not good is that your visa is basically just good for a year. So if you have like a driver's license, then you will have to renew that every year. And the stipulation with the J1 visa is that after the training, you will have to go back to your home country, Philippines or India or Pakistan, and then serve there for 2 years. And I'm not entirely sure about the other countries, but in the Philippines, we are required to serve 2 years, mandatory 2 years in the Philippines. Now, if you have a family or if you have like some situation that bars you from going back to your home country, you can always find a waiver job in the US, which you would work as a sort of payment, quote unquote, for the J1 visa. So instead of the 2 years in your home country, you can do a waiver job for 3 years in an area of medical need. And what's hard with the J1 visa is that looking for a waiver job can be very challenging. So I know a couple of people who had to go back to, like, they were subspecialists and they had to go and work as a general primary care or practitioner just because their subspecialty does not have any waiver job available somewhere else in the US. If you are set with doing a fellowship, J1 is the way to go. But there's always like these things that you have to think about, the hassle of renewal every year or stamping your passport every year, and having to go through service to your home country or looking for a waiver job in the US. Most of the fellowships would be doing a J1 waiver, I mean a J1 visa for your fellowship. So a lot of people, when they start on a J1 on the residency, can just keep on like changing to a J1 when they do their fellowship. Now, moving on to an H1B, it's a worker's visa, so you basically here as a worker with special skills as a doctor. And this one, if you get it, then you're not required to do a waiver job or to go back to your country. A lot of people would opt or like choose to be having or to have an H1 visa because after the H1 visa and you find a place or an employer, a hospital who can sponsor you to have a green card, then this is the route that most people would want to go. Saying that if you wanted, or during the 3 years that you are in training and decided that, oh, I want to go for a fellowship, then that could be a challenge, because so far as I know, most of the university fellowships would be on a J1. So if you want to go that route, then you will have to change your status from an H1B to a J1. And once you go for a J1, then again, you will have to go back to your home country for 2 years or look for a waiver job in the US, which, could be a pain in the neck in the long run if you think about it. So what's my take on it? If you can get an H1, then that would be the quote-unquote ideal situation for you guys. How do you qualify for an H1? When I applied, I had to finish my step 3, and I was offered an H1 during that time. But I think since I finished training, like, most of the hospitals have been going towards a J1 route. So just so you guys are aware. So step 3 is required for that. Not every program will be offering an H1B. Like, you can talk to the program director and ask them, like, what kind of visa. So if it's a pre-match program, I think some of them also offers an H1B, but you will have to do your own research and check which programs are offering such kind of visa. How about an EAD, which is basically, I would say, a gray zone kind of visa. So this is like waiting for your green card. It can be challenging because a lot of programs are kind of leaning towards either J1 or H1B. But if you're close to getting your green card, I would consult an immigration lawyer and then talk to your program director about it. I know some programs can be flexible, like they would wait until you change your visa to an EAD or a green card even before you can start a fellowship. But you will really need to talk and sit with your program director, because if you are delayed with a fellowship or the start of your training, then a lot of people would be affected schedule-wise. So just think about these things. It's challenging, I'm telling you guys, and the waiver job, it's hard to find. I know, like, my program director from before told me, like, he was really forced to look, like, even rural areas, just because he was thinking that time that his kids are here, and he didn't want to compromise their education, and they're so used to, like, living here in the US. So this is just a short guide. Again, I'm not an expert. Consult your immigration lawyer and always check for the ECFMG. They always have, like, guidelines and notices about what kind of visa you should be doing or what you have. And if you are around New York area, I know a couple of lawyers who specialize in immigration, and I had a good experience with them. So drop your comments, and we can try to talk about it. Hope you have a good night, and thank you for watching.